Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Philippine Young Author Awards book launch this morning. I am Rafi, your host, and I would like to thank everyone who are watching right now. And if you're watching from Facebook, please share this Facebook Live to your friends in your wall or tag them or host a watch party with them. All right. So today we are going to feature young authors from the Philippines here in our online book launch who won last year's Philippine Young Author Awards. Yeah. So first, let me introduce our featured authors one by one. So first, let's start with Gianna Daniela Bacordo, who wrote Casual Solitudes and became the winner of the first prize in the Philippine Young Author Awards 2022. And welcome to the Philippine Young Author Awards. And she was able to retitle her book into Tender Mercies and became the finalist for the Philippine Young Author Awards 2022 also. Gianna, hi.
Hello.
All right, so next we have Jamila Bruno. She is the author of A Hero's Tale, and she's the winner of the second prize in the Philippine Young Author Awards 2022. And she's also the finalist for the Asia Young Author Awards in the same year. Hi, Jamila.
Hello, everyone.
And next we have Micaela Borbe, who wrote Shooting Star, and her story is the finalist for the Philippine and Asia Young Author Awards 2022. Hi, Mika.
Hello po.
Ayan. And unfortunately, she was not able to join us today, but part of our also a winner and finalist is Kimberly Ko, who wrote It's Only Up From Here. And she was also the winner of the third prize in the Philippine Young Author Awards 2022. And her story was also chosen to be interpreted as a short film in the recent Philippine Young Filmmaker Awards. So that is Kimberly Ko for you. All right. And then we also have today Rishaila Corpus. There. So Rishaila is the author of Believe Me and the finalist for the Asia Young Author Awards. And her story also, Believe Me, was chosen for the Philippine Young Filmmaker Awards in 2023. Ayan. Hi, Rishaila.
Hello po.
Ayan. And then finally, the only thorn among the roses, we have Eugene Dwayne Lopez, and he's the author of Adventures of the Bayani Siblings. Ayan. And he's also the finalist in the Philippine Young Author Awards and the third prize winner in the Asia Young Author Awards, besting 30 or more other young authors from Singapore, Malaysia, Indonesia, and India. Hi, Eugene.
Good morning. It's such a pleasure to be here.
Hi. I'm happy to see everyone this morning. And congratulations, everyone, for making this far. No? So thank you for making time also to join today. So in this book launch, we will get to know our authors more and their stories. And we'll talk about inspiration, the struggles of being a young writer, and most importantly, how to join this year's Young Author Awards. So we'll do a round robin of the questions so we get to talk to each of our authors. Okay? So let's begin. Let's talk about a bit about you. About you first as the author. So can you maybe introduce us yourself, your hobbies if you have, and maybe where you are right now so our audience knows where you're currently located? Maybe we can start with Gianna.
Hi, I'm Jana Danielle Cruz Bacordo. I'm currently studying in OB Montessori Green Hills. My hobbies are reading and writing, and currently I am located in Antipolo City.
Hi, nice. Hello again. All right, so next we have Jamila.
Hello, everyone. My name is Jimila Brunio. I'm a student from Meridian International Learning Experience. I love drawing and I love writing. I'm currently in Quezon City right now in my own home.
Nice to meet you, Jamila. And then we have Mika.
Hello, my name's Michaela Borbe. I study in Ika Green Hills and I like listening to music and reading. And currently I'm in San Juan City.
All right. Most of you are in Metro Manila or a bit in the outskirts, right? So, all right. Next we have Kimberly. Oh, she was not able to join pala. All right. How about Rishaila?
Hi, I'm Rashaila Corpus. I'm currently studying in Miriam College, and as of now, I live in Quezon City, and my hobbies are drawing and writing as of now.
Nice. Okay. And of course, Eugene.
Good morning. My name is Regine Buenas Lopez. I am 14 years old and I study at Philippine Science High School main campus. So as of now, my hobbies are reading, of course, writing, and playing the sport of basketball. And right now, I'm currently in Quezon City.
Nice. All right. Thank you very much, young authors. So now let's talk about your inspiration, about your book. So maybe you guys can tell us the title of your book and what inspired you to write that story of all the many stories that you can write. Okay, let's start our usual order. Let's start with Gianna.
My story, first initially titled Casual Solitudes and then Tender Mercies, I actually got the idea from a Greek myth of Calypso, as well as the different Philippine folklore I've heard from the places I go to. It was about this lonely nymph, which got me thinking. I mean, as an immortal, it must be very hard to watch everything you love come and go, right? So I thought this must create a very deep feeling of isolation. I decided to build off of that idea with a lonely sea spirit and the company that she finally let herself have.
Wow. Okay, so a very unique love story, if you will, right? Is it more of a love story or a myth? Both?
More friendship, like that's own type of love, I guess.
All right. Okay. How about Jamila?
What inspired me, of course, was my keen interest in Filipino history and culture. I find that it's easier to create ideas with something you're familiar with, and of course, it's the reason why I chose the Bakunawa as my protagonist, which is a Filipino mythological creature. This creature also inspired my title for the book, A Hero's Tale, which was intentional. I used to believe you need to be inspired by something dramatic, but in reality, it could be as simple as being inspired by whatever your interests lie in.
Yes, correct. But and now that we're in a very modern time, right? It's hard to be inspired with mythological creatures because usually we just encounter them through books, right? But this is a unique take if you guys have read Jamila's book. How about you, Mika?
Uh, I like reading books in the sci-fi and adventure genre mostly. And I just thought that a story related to space would be neat. So I just made the character, setting, plot, and then I rode with it.
Wow, nice. Okay, a very unique combination right there. And then we have Rishaila.
Well, my book, believe me, came from a large number of influences. There was the fact I had just recently read Crime and Punishment by Fyodor Dostoevsky, and that whole plot featured a rather dreary narrative with the murder of an old lady. That book was my biggest inspiration for Believe Me, but there was the need of a new plot. I can't just reuse someone else's plot. So what I did was
Yeah.
that I listened to a lot of albums that I really liked. And there was this particular song named Little Miss by Boa, which I assumed talked about a dying relationship between a woman and her husband.
Wow. So it's your inspiration came from a book and a song.
Yes po.
That's nice. Yeah. And in writing, well, actually, in any creative endeavor, actually, would you believe that there's no really original work? It's because artists and writers like us really get inspired first from, the first artists, the first writers, and we give our own take to classic stories and give our own twist to it. Nice. All right. And finally, we have Eugene.
Okay, so the title of my book is The Adventures of the Bayani Siblings. And with by writing this book, I aim to do two things. Number one, I wanted to showcase the vibrancy and cultural color of the Philippines as a whole, both in the past and the present. I wanted to show how vibrant the landscape of the Philippines was and how colorful and bright the mythology of the Philippines really was. And the second one is I wanted to integrate a sort of family value into it po, because family, I believe, is one of my biggest inspirations, and they help me to aspire your and reach even greater heights. So I really wanted to incorporate a family value into my story. So because they are my best inspiration, and thanks to them, I would never be here.
Wow, that's truly inspiring, Eugene, and that's very Filipino. I would like to agree. Di ba, guys? You would all agree that being family oriented is one core Filipino value, and we're all proud of you. I'm proud of everyone here because all of you became finalists. One in the Philippine Young Author Awards last year and also became finalists, right, in the Asia Young Author Awards. So congrats to you. And of course, speaking of PYAA, let's move on to the next question. All right. So as mentioned, last year we had the Philippine Young Author Workshop and Awards, and all of you were batchmates, right? So do you guys remember seeing each other's faces during the first day? Yes, no, or maybe not because your videos were not on. Yeah, probably. But before you guys started the workshop, how did you first learn about it? Let's start with Ryujin this time. I'll go backwards.
Okay po. So I heard it from two people in my family po, my mom and my cousin po. I heard from both of them that um my cousin's friend, Justice Aguinaldo, was a third place finisher in the Asia Young Author Awards too. And since they knew I had a passion for writing, they really wanted me to try it out. I did too, eventually po. So yeah, that's how I got it po.
Nice. Okay. Good thing. Good thing you did join. Rishaila, how about you?
Well, at the time, my parents were actually suggesting me art workshops, but I wasn't really in the mood. So what I decided was that I would just get into my other hobby, which was writing. I decided that, hey, maybe I can work on my other hobby or other skill. So I asked my father to look for any writing workshops or writing competitions just
Mm.
for the fun of it so that I could learn, even though it's mostly just a hobby for me.
Thanks to Daddy, he was able to see the ad for this, right? And also, it's a good thing that words won over art this time. This time for you because you were able to join the workshop that summer. All right, how about Mika?
Uh, My mom was looking for writing programs and she saw the post on Facebook from the Jana's account. So she sent me the post and then I signed up.
Yay, thanks to your mom. Thanks to your mom for sharing. You know, guys, sometimes it's really helpful that our parents are in Facebook. Sometimes these are the nice instances that they are sharing with us some content. Okay. How about Jamila?
I learned about PYAA when my school emailed me about it last year, hoping for students to join. Looking back at it, I'm very grateful that they did. I think it's good to encourage honing your creativity at a young age, and I'm glad my school understands and recognizes this as well.
Yes, that's important also that your teachers know and see your potential also. And usually the recommendations also come from our teachers, right? Because they see our write-ups, they see the potential in us. Thanks to your school, to Meridian School, right? Okay, so how about finally for Gianna?
Last summer, my mom actually wanted me to do like some activities. So she like went online and she searched and she looked into like writing workshops and stuff like that. And she ended up enrolling me in PYAA.
Great. Okay, thanks to was that your mom? Did I hear it right?
Yeah, my mom.
Yay, thanks to mommy for sharing what she saw. And I think also, guys, aside from that, thanks to our families, supporters, friends, and teachers, because these are the people who referred you to join the program because they truly believe in your story writing abilities, diba? So more, what fuels really writers is not just ourselves. What fuels our passion are also those people who believe in us, diba? When they encourage us to pursue our passions even though we know it's difficult and we know sometimes we don't have time for them anymore. Ayan. So thank you to our young authors, friends, and families for supporting them. All right. So let's now go to the writing process. Ayan. So if you guys know Stephen King, a world-renowned author of The Shining, It, and other thriller novels that also became um, cinematic masterpieces, is known to write at least 2 pages a day. So it doesn't have to be a story, but he just says that he writes 2 pages a day as an exercise. So how about you, young authors? Do you have some kind of a ritual or what's your writing process? It doesn't have to be super complex, ah. It just has to be uniquely yours, kumbaga. Let's start with Gianna.
Okay. I don't have like a very strict writing process. Like for me, it's not a checklist and I don't have an agenda. I feel if it's too restricting, that it also might make writing less enjoyable. So I'm not Stephen King at all. So I just make it a point to write at least a little bit every day, even if it's only one sentence. So as long as I don't let the story fade into inactivity, I will mostly write even more than that. So it works.
Wow, yes. I agree. A little bit goes a long way, di ba? Jamila, how about you?
When it was time for me to actually get into the process of writing drafts for my story, I recalled the simple yet effective method to conceptualize ideas that was shared to my school from an artist. The artist told us to ask ourselves what if questions. These what if questions can range from being somewhat tame to wild. At some point, I remember the question, what if the manananggal creature was born from a tragic incident popping in my head? You can't be afraid to let your mind wander if you want to reach something you'd actually want to write about. Eventually, though, with the help of my older sister, I arrived at the idea of a story revolving around the Bakunawa and its tale told through its own perspective. Along the way, I also learned that I had to let go of certain ideas if I wanted my story to turn out better, even if I had grown attached to them.
Wow. Okay. So it's more of using the what if to start to start brewing new ideas, right? Great. That's a good technique. How about Mika? You?
Uh, I don't really have that long of a writing process. It's just I look for inspiration online, and if I find something interesting or funny, I write it down, and after a while, I just think about it again. But then I collect a lot of those, and eventually they come together and they form somewhat of a story idea.
Nice. Okay. You know what? Now that you've answered these questions, something I'm gonna ask a follow-up question later. Okay. It's more of we all sometimes find it easy to find inspiration and to start books, right? To start writing. But the ultimate question is, how do we finish? Yan, which is I think you guys have the answer to that because all of you were able to finish your own book. So later, that's my follow-up question, okay? But let's go to Rishaila. What's your ritual or writing process if you have?
Usually, I would write a chapter or a portion of the chapter once every day and then like revisit it throughout the whole day, editing it here and there. But
Mhm.
sometimes when I'm not in the mood to write at all, I usually just lie in bed and imagine the scenes myself, taking like note of every single little detail that like happens in it and add it to like my story by adding it into my notes as like bullet points.
That's great. You know what they say that 90% of writing is not writing at all. The 10% is the writing part or the typing part, but the 90% everything comes from our head, right? So yeah, I would agree with the lying down part and trying to imagine things first before putting it on paper. Um Finally, Eugene, any
Okay.
secret
So
formula?
usually when I start writing a story, I actually put main emphasis on the characters and the setting first because by setting down all these valuable foundations, I can now think of infinite combinations in which I can set the story with. Since I've already given the characters a personality, how they interact with other characters, and how they interact with the setting that they're in, I can now think of possible ways I can formulate a plot and then expand it from there. That's usually what I do.
That's great. You know what, Eugene, that's the hardest actually. That's the hardest part to do, to lay down the foundation for the character. Because sometimes we get so engrossed in the character, right, that the character takes a form of his own. And then when you're writing a story about him, you realize that, he's deciding for himself. Because sometimes there are situations that if you put your character in that situation, it doesn't look like he will chase the car or it doesn't look like he will jump the building like that, right? So I'm happy that you took that path. And it's kind of a bit of a long process, but you're correct in saying that it is a foundation of a really good story. In fact, if one already makes the character solid or full, you can already make a series out of him. Like Harry Potter, right? 7 books, if I'm not mistaken. 7 books. And even the Percy Jackson series, because Percy's character is full already. So yeah, it's the Adventures of Bionic Siblings can probably be a series. What do you think?
Um, thinking about it, I'll
Right?
see. Yeah, I'll see if I can add new characters or
Hmm?
add villains and probably add a bit more tension. That's yeah, I'm definitely thinking about it.
Great. Okay. All right. So on to my follow-up question. So all of you were able, I'm sure you have this seed of an idea weeks or probably months before PYAA. But the important question is, how did you guys finish the book? Gianna, how did you finish the book?
Actually, it was a bit of a stroke of luck that I was able to because half of the things that I write end up rotting in Google Docs somewhere. So, yeah, I was very impressed with myself. But I think what really helped me is that sometimes when you write something and then you just end up getting stuck somewhere. So you just never touch it ever again. That's what happens mostly to me. what helped me was I just put the scene I'm stuck writing, I just put it in brackets, like bonding scene, whatever, and then I just move on to the next thing so that I'm able to just keep writing. And eventually I just go back to that so that I don't get stuck on anything. It's just like a forward stream of writing. That's the best advice I can give. Other than that, I am a victim of
But you know what? I'm a co-victim of the documents being rotting somewhere because that really happens to most of us. Like so many inspiration, right? But no, it's rare that one inspiration really takes the form of a story. But that's a good tip. Um, let's have Jamila. How were you able to finish your 3,000 word story or 1,500?
Coming from my personal experience, the best advice I can give is to truly understand the characters you've written. Their actions must have some sort of payoff and purpose, so don't forget to tie loose ends. Reread what you've written as many times as you need to if you feel as if the character's action should have impacted the ending in some other way. Additionally, only you can determine what type of ending for your characters is fitting and satisfying, whether that may be something tragic, happy, etc.
Right. I would like to agree also on the editing part. Amongst you guys, what do you think is harder? Starting the story or editing it? Uh, mm, raise your hands if you think it's starting the story. Okay, no one's raising their hand. So, is it editing the story? Yes? Or not so? Not Gianna's
It,
not yet sure. Yeah, Eugene? Go ahead.
it is very hard because you have to find out whether or not it can actually seamlessly continue the plot.
Mm.
And the problem with that is if it doesn't continue the plot as smoothly as you hope, you have to find a way to alter it somehow without changing some certain major thing.
Yeah, and sometimes we end up like starting from square one, right? How about the others? Any take on that? Oh, what about ending the story? Because that's another process there, right? So next question is, what's harder, ending or editing the middle? Who says editing the middle? Raise hands. No? So for Rishaila, the hardest part is the editing the middle. While the others, the hardest part is ending the whole story.
It is.
Yeah.
Can I say something?
Yeah, go ahead, Rishaila. What?
For me, it's editing the middle of the story because you can always come to a conclusion at the end. You can already visualize how it's going to go. You just need to like link it together and analyze how it would go from one beginning to the ending of it itself. It's like an entire argument or an entire essay wherein you need to like analyze how it properly organizes itself. So I always think that editing the middle is the hardest.
Yeah. And I think for the guys, I think also that it's easy to make the ending, but I think what you're thinking about, guys, is to not put a cliche ending, right? And to just kill everyone. I'm sure you've thought of that, like, oh, let's end this and just kill everyone. I mean, kill all the characters, right? But of course you want to justify all the characters' actions. That's why it's hard for the others to put an ending. Would you agree? What do you guys think? Yeah. Jamila is saying thumbs up. Eugene?
I definitely agree with ending the story because you have all the things you need. You just need to create something that will also be memorable for the reader and for you, and overall make it an enjoyable writing experience. And
Yeah.
I'm feeling more of a procrastination problem as well.
Yeah, but I think, guys, the deadline for PYAA helped you, right? Finish the book.
It definitely did. Definitely did.
Yes. All right. That's good to know. That deadline sometimes also helps. Okay, so let me continue with our follow-up questions. So now the next part is let's talk about your books. All right. So maybe you can briefly tell our viewers about your book and probably mention of your favorite part of the story and also share with us the most difficult part about writing it. Okay? So let's start with Gianna.
Casual Solitude is from the point of view of a boy named Atlas who meets and befriends a lonely sea spirit on the shore of his village. As they're both difficult personalities, this is sort of a journey in and of itself. The parts where they bond with each other are my favorite. I actually like writing the development of the scenes and how you could see them growing closer over time. As for the second question, I had most difficulty putting my ideas to paper. I had like a lot of concepts and ideas of what I wanted to put, and it was really hard to include everything in a single story. I even got stuck sometimes on certain scenes. So that's why I recommend like making an outline for your story so that you won't get lost in your ideas.
All right, was there a part, Gianna, that you really wanted to put this scene, but it doesn't really fit in the story? Do you have that moment?
Yes, the word count suffocated me. I could I had to like meticulously edit everything out, like edit out words. I really wanted to include a part like about Atlas himself, like his
Uh-huh.
background, but I couldn't fit anything.
The only thing you could fit there was Atlas is a god. Only 3 words, right? Or maybe nothing at all. But how did you manage?
I sort of just went through, I was like, okay, what can I kill here? What can I get rid
Mm.
of? And I was like, okay, if I sacrifice this, this won't make sense. I'm keeping this. If I sacrifice this, nothing will really change, but I'll be really sad, but that doesn't matter. So I just sort of went through and decided what can I cut out with just like making it the bare bones of what the story I'm trying to tell here. And yeah, that's all I did. I just removed all of the frills and that's yeah.
And that's the discipline actually, guys, of being a writer. It's trying to detach yourself from the actual emotional process of writing the book, but actually thinking about your readers, right? Will this information push the story forward, or will this sentence help them understand the story better? So it's really a it's really a courageous thing, if you will, to just hack off parts of your story just to fit the word count. I can really imagine the struggle, but great job, Gianna. And I think your hard work paid off, right? Because of you won, di ba? Great. All right. So, how about Jamila?
So my favorite part of my story was the build-up that led to revealing the heinous actions of the villain. In my story, a Babaylan was the villain. In Filipino history, the Babaylan is a powerful figure in society who serves as the connection between humans and spirit. So this buildup happens in an unsettling nature, with her initially being presented as a well-respected leader of her village, until it's slowly revealed she's someone who's very manipulative, controlling, and power-hungry. And as for the most difficult part about writing the book, for me it was writing the ending. Finishing my story was the most challenging part of my writing process because at that point, when I finally got to writing the ending itself, I was already burnt out. Since my protagonists
Mm.
were powerful in their respective ways, it was hard to figure out a way to make the ending seem balanced and deserving. I'll be completely honest, even till this day, I regret not making a clear and concrete idea for how my ending should have been like.
Wow. So that means, Jamila, you need to write another book, or maybe a sequel to this, right? Because guys, stories are like that. Some stories really don't have a concrete ending. Like our lives, right? So it's just a scene after a scene after a chapter after a chapter. So maybe, Jaimila, you need to write another book. What do you think? No, not yet. But because I heard you say when you put that stress on, by the time I'm at the end, I'm already burned out. So I'm sorry I laughed a little because I really felt the burnt out part. And as writers, really, we also get to that point. And we want to conserve our energy to really finish the book, right? And sometimes we can get that energy from within us, the desire to really finish the book, or to get it from our friends and families, from their encouragement. Okay? And especially deadlines. Deadlines really work. Okay, how about Mika?
Uh, so Shooting Star is about a man who goes to space on a job and brings home an interesting rock. But as you know from sci-fi, you should probably not take the interesting space rocks home. Uh,
Yes. The movies always start like that.
my favorite part would be where the mood of the story starts from like it starts off casual and then just quickly spirals downwards and out.
What was the difficult part of writing it?
The difficult part was okay. It was coming up with the story in the first place since I didn't know what to do with it at first. There's
Mm.
too many choices for me to pick from, and I also didn't know how to end it at all.
Okay, but I think you got a pretty solid premise but I mean like core of the story. So once we have a premise like where we want this person to go upon finding that rock, I think it's more of like putting words na lang together, right? To make it form. All right. So is there a particular favorite scene you like in this book?
Discount the spoilers already.
Yeah, oh guys, speaking of spoilers, it's better if you guys buy everyone's book, all right? So I'm gonna give details later where you can buy our young author's book. Okay? And also, if you guys are in the Philippines and you personally know our young authors, you can just contact them and they can um uh give you a copy of their book. Give, of course, after you pay. Right, guys? Because the great thing about this also, if our viewers don't know, whenever there's someone who purchased the book in the e-store, our young authors get royalties. Yeah, so it's the start actually of their writing careers. So guys, please support our young authors. So later I'll give more details on that. Okay, so no more spoilers for Mika. Just go buy her book. Okay, so how about Rishaila?
Okay, so for me, well, how do I explain it? My favorite part of the story is specifically how I wrote the beginning because it's a prologue, and when I read the prologue out to everybody, people got scared of how I wrote it down because it's like a horror book, right? And yeah, that's just my favorite part of the story as itself. But
Yeah, I remember reading this story also. And I was like, it's like I'm reading Sherlock Holmes meets meets like Death Note kind of vibe. So yeah, I would agree that your intro was great also. How about the difficult part?
I think the most difficult part of the story or writing the book in general was the fact I had school at the time.
Oh
So
yeah.
in English class,
Hmm.
I would be working on my group project and then I'd be writing. Like I'd be switching from one tab to another. I'd be texting my group mates to do the work. And then I'd be switching to my tab. And then I remember in the middle of English class, I was working on the cover and like listening to the teacher at the same time because it was almost due.
Wow. Um guys, thank you for supporting our young authors during this time because hopefully and we're thankful also that your teachers and your classmates know that you're in the middle of making your book. So again, thanks for the support, right? If it weren't for them, you won't be able to finish it. So That's great also. But guys, of course, be careful on doing other stuff when you're in class, okay? So, and finally, Ryujin, how about you?
Okay, so my book's name is The Adventures of the Bayani Siblings, and it's basically about two siblings, Mario and Riza. Wait, no, not really accident. I'm not sure if it was accident or not, but pretty sure it was. They were accidentally called on upon by gods from Philippine mythology, and one of their tasks is to help them retrieve this magical quill that can like when you write it, everything that you wish will become true.
Mm.
And for some reason, this quill was stolen by a evil witch. So of course, they had to let the children participate. Anyways, I feel like I have no particular favorite part
Mhm.
in this story. I like it all from start to finish. It's a very I really like it because I feel like I'm transported to another world. I'm transported into inside the character's mind. I know their thoughts, the how they saw things, and
Mhm.
it was basically a very entertaining write and read from start to finish. But for me, the hardest part when I was writing this book was making the relationships and dialogue seem believable
Mhm.
because the I said characters are a very important part in making a story.
Yeah.
So I really wanted the characters to be believable and to have realistic relationships. So much
Mm.
so that it could heighten the tension and make the story much more entertaining and candid. So yeah, I was just trying to find a way to make sure that everything was realistic somehow, yet
Mhm.
also whimsical and magical. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks, Eugene. Actually, when I read your book, don't worry, your efforts paid off. Everything sounded natural. Well, read naturally to me. And then also because since I'm a Filipino, I'm very familiar with the terms you mentioned. And then when you're a Filipino reading another Filipino's work, you kind of get um kilig. Is there an English version of kilig? Well, none, right? So so you kind of get kilig when you understand what they're trying to say, especially when they drop little Filipino words in there. So that's the special charm, I think, that I've experienced for the past years reading works from our Filipino young authors. Is when I read it, it's like I know what they're talking about. So you get goosebumps. Yeah. For those who don't understand kilig, it's a little bit like goosebumps, but more on the nice side there. Okay. Thank you very much. All right, for your answers and for sharing your experience on writing the book. And as I mentioned a while ago, you can all of these books to our viewers are available in the Janus Education e-store. So the link is flashed right now, and you can screenshot it right now, or you can simply Google Catherine Koo e-store. Or if, as I said, if you know our authors personally, you can directly order from them. All right. So if you guys are also open, do you have your Facebook with you right now? If you have it open in your phones, maybe we can say hi to our viewers. Let's check. Sino ba yung mga viewers natin ngayon? Maraming fans si Gianna. Gianna, say hi! Ang dami mong fans. Sige, I'll tell their names ha. Eileen Martinez is saying hi. Jasmine Pia. Ayan. So if you know them, say hi. And then we have, I think Mommy Rachel is watching. Rachel Cruz Bacordo. Mommy, thank you for watching. Look, paliit ng paliit si Gianna, nahihiya na siya. Ayan na. So, Sir Joby, is it your dad? Ayan, si Daddy, tama ba?
And
Yeah. Ayan. So, but everyone is also saying congratulations to all of you. Not only Gianna, syempre. All of you, congratulations, because the friends and families really understand the struggles of writers. So everyone, JRC is saying congrats to young authors and their parents as well. Kung nga, speaking of which, that we also would like to congratulate the parents for encouraging you to write, no, and supporting you, most importantly. Sel Karungay Sevillano, I think this is your godmother, inaanak. Ayan, inaanak. Nina, kailangan ni Gianna ng gift. Bride Ong, congrats Mika. Oh, Bride Ong, Mika, this is he your uncle? Yeah. Thank you. They're watching. Peps Cara, Margot Roll, saying everyone, you are amazing, Gianna. Lani De Los Santos, congrats. And Tamina Lamb saying congratulations, young authors. And then, Fia Libunao says, woo, congrats, Dwayne. Woo talaga, woo. Very supportive. Karin Viana saying congrats everyone. Nakakatuwa naman yung mga supporters natin. Thank you everyone. Ayan, salamat po. And guys, don't worry, maybe some of your friends and families are just busy now, but this Facebook Live is going to be up in the Facebook page for them to check later. Ayan. So pwede pa rin sila mag-comment doon. Sabihin ko mag-comment sila tapos itag kayo. Kung meron kayo. Meron pa ba kayong Facebook? Do you guys still have Facebook? No na. No Facebook. Or maybe you have but you don't say to your parents. Can. All right. Okay, so we are almost, let me reshare again my screen. Ayan, all right. So wait, one last hi. Debbie Lopez is saying, we love you, Kuya Ryujin Dwayne Salvacion Lopez. Ang haba. It's the whole name. Congratulations, everyone. And they said, mom, dad, and Rin. It's the whole family saying hi. Congratulations to Kuya. Ayan. All right, so we are now, guys, at the end of our book launch. And we're almost at the end of the book launch. So we would like to invite all of you who are watching, or if you know someone or another young author who would like to try their writing skills, to join us in the Philippine Young Author Awards 2023 on August 12, 13, 19, and 20. So it's a 4-day workshop where you get to be coached by the one and only Catherine Pu, and you get a chance to represent the Philippines to the Asia Young Author Awards, that like our lovely young authors this morning. So if you are 13 to 16 years old, or you know someone who's interested in story writing, or if you're a parent of a teen or a preteen who loves to write, let them join this year's PYAA and give them a chance to represent the Philippines. Ayan, all right. So I'm also flashing here the QR code, which you can screenshot if you like, so you can check the registration link later. All right. So to end, everyone, I have just one last question for you. Any inspiring words for our young authors or those budding writers who want to join this year's PYAA? I think we'd have to start with Gianna.
Just keep the lectures in mind and write what feels most natural to you. It's not anything complicated. Just, to me, if you push yourself too hard, then your work will just feel stiff and unnatural. And not only that, but just keep revising your work after the first draft. Even if it's like not perfect the first time, definitely keep making it as good as you can until you think that it's perfect. And to the future young authors, don't stress yourself out. just enjoy the journey and do what you enjoy. Like, for example, one of our famous Filipino singers, Dea Salonga, she started out small. She didn't sing only to succeed in life. She started at family parties, singing only for her relatives. Now she's majorly successful and performs in front of many audiences. So when you write, don't think too hard about just winning. Just focus on writing the story that you think is best for you, and eventually you will get the work that you are the most proud of.
Ah, I like that. Thank you, Gianna. Jamila, how about you?
You have to let go of the fear of putting your work out there. I understand that may be harder to do than it sounds, so I'll try putting it in a way that also helped me. Think of your success of finally being able to touch the hearts of readers with your story. Be confident in what you write, and the best way to achieve this is if you take the initiative to plan your story out cohesively at the earlier stage of your writing process. And even if the way this competition ends for you doesn't go as how you wanted it to be proud you've made progress in becoming a better writer. So, to future young authors, you're never too young to achieve great things. Don't view your age as a hindrance to reaching your potential, and instead, treat it as a gift that you're able to hone such an amazing skill this early.
Thank you, Jamila. Thank you. Thank you so much. And also for giving a bit of a tip also for our young authors. Mika, any inspirational messages?
Mm, just do your best and do what you like. You should write what you're passionate about, but with at least some quality. Not that everyone's going to like it, but as long as you keep trying, it'll all work out someday.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Not don't be too hard on yourself, guys. I agree with Mika. Um, Rishaila?
Just do what you want to do, make what you want successful when they create what they want to create. Like for example, in The Lion King, they just made whatever they wanted to make. Even if it wasn't a popular telling or story, it still became a successful movie. And even if it doesn't become successful, who cares about it being successful? You learned something, you expressed yourself. That's what matters. You just have to take the leap of faith. Like
Yes, that's true. Yeah, for Lion King, I would like to agree. Like, who would have known that talking meerkats and talking boars would, make it to the big screen, right? But yeah, that's a great example, Rishaila. Thank you so much. Finally, Ryuji.
Don't be afraid to put out your work and to exhibit it, because at the end of the day, you'll always have passion, hard work, and perseverance at your side. Keep trying and doing what you love, because there are so many people out there who have often never had the chance, who would like to have the chance to finally have a book of their own, or to finally have the chance to publish their written manuscripts but haven't, because oftentimes there's this fear of rejection. I say to throw that feeling aside and and ensure that you always spread your wings so you can fly high. That's all.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Ryujin. Actually, thank you to all of our young authors. Thank you very much, Gianna, Jamila, Mika, Rishaila, and Ryujin. Thank you everyone for inspiring young and old writers alike. So I hope all of our aspiring young authors are listening right now, and even all other writers who want to write their own story or book, right? So if these kids, I don't know if you're still kids, but these young authors, if these guys did it, then take it as an inspiration that, like what they said, you have to let go of your fear and believe in yourself. Yeah. So thank you everyone again for watching our Philippine Young Author Awards book launch, and have a great day, everyone. Bye.
Goodbye. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Goodbye and thank you po.
Bye and thanks. Bye-bye.